Hi, it's my favorite time of day, the time of day when I get to read a good book to you. Today we're going to read Alexander in the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. You've probably read this one a million times, but I love it and I think it's a classic, so we're going to read it again today. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you about some of you being at home right now, like I'm at home. And I'm even teaching my class at home. Hi guys, I see you. Hi Ada. Hi Xavier. Hi Riley. Hi everybody. And if you're stuck at home, sometimes you might have a bad day because it's hard for us all to be cooped up together for so long, but it's very, very important that we do it. And we're going to try to make the best of it. We're going to go to school online, and we're going to do our work online. We're going to read books online, and we're going to spend time with our families and have as much fun as we can. So my class, if you want to email me, you know how to do that, so we can keep in touch. And you can leave comments here also for me, remember? All right, so let's get started. Have you ever read any other Alexander books? They're great books. You can see this one has been well loved because it's kind of falling apart. That's the sign of a good book. I better tape this cover back on for Mrs. Morgart. I think she let me borrow this book. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And this one is illustrated by Ray Cruz. I like the illustrations in these Alexander books, don't you? I also like these books because I happen to have a son named Alexander too. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. You ever had one of those? At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be carsick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Thank you for saying it with me, Liam. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I heard you, Zaria. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy, and then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby, and while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes, but then the shoe man said we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as could be except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eyes, my marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. All right, have you ever had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day? I hope you're not having too many of those while you're home doing your homeschooling. And remember, if you're from my class, you can message me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for me. If you have any other books by Judith Viorst, I suggest you get them out and compare them to this one. You'll notice a lot of similarities and some differences too. That might be a good activity to try at home. All right, I will see you next time. Bye, Morgan.